Unlock your dream property with Meeks Realty Group, where Rich the Realtor makes real estate dreams a reality. Whether it's residential or commercial, we've got Charleston to Huntington covered. Your key to exceptional real estate experiences start here. Meeks Realty Group. Contact us at meeks.us.
The views and opinions expressed on this program do not necessarily reflect the views and opinions of 580 WCHS, its employees, or WVRC Media. From the studios of WVRC Media, the country, the United States of America, the state, West Virginia, the city, Charleston. This is the Dave Allen Show on 580 Live. And your host.
What we've got here is failure to communicate.
He's kind of a big deal.
I have come here to chew bubblegum and kick ass, and I'm all out of bubblegum.
Dave Allen.
And a good Wednesday morning to you. Welcome to the show. Matt Murphy is our producer today. Bigly, Piggly, Wiggly, hotline 304-345-5858. Tony the Taylor text 304-935-5008. We do the show from the Par-Mar Store studio. If there's not a Par-Mar store near you now, there will be soon. The Dave Allen Show on 580 Live, brought to you also by Thornhill Auto Group, including Thornhill Ford Lincoln on the Thornhill Motor Mile. Come check out the F-150 in action at Thornhill Ford Lincoln, the Thornhill Motor Mile. Shop anytime, thornhillford.net, or stop by US 119 in Chapmanville. Phone calls to the show, a service of Bigly, Piggly, Wiggly on Spring Street. Texting services provided by West Virginia's finest men's store, Tony the Taylor, Virginia Street, Charleston, where Tony's annual pre-holiday fall clearance sale is going on now through Saturday. 50 to 75% off on select items, including footwear, sportswear, outerwear, and more, plus all in-stock jackets and suits. 20 to 50% off sale in Saturday with Tony the Taylor. Loaded up show this morning on this Wednesday edition. Of course, we're going to have more on the debate last night. Hope you had a chance to check that out on Metro News TV and on our stations between Attorney General Patrick Morrissey and Huntington Mayor Steve Williams. Going to get into that a little bit later on. Dr. Casey Sachs from BridgeValley will be stopping by. John Mitchell, who's a candidate for prosecutor here in Kanawha County, will be stopping by, as well as House candidate Tristan Leavitt. And as always, your calls and texts are welcome. Bigly, Piggly, Wiggly, hotline 304-345-5858. Tony the Taylor text 304-935-5008. Want to go to Robb Reel now from her sister station 96.1 KWS. Hopefully only 1 day and a half out from completing this Herculean task of walking from Charleston to Morgantown for WVU Children's Hospital to deliver that big old check that you, the listeners of the stations of WVRC Media, help make possible through your donations. Rob, good morning, buddy. Today and half of tomorrow.
Hercules.
What was that? What?
I said Hercules from The Nutty Professor.
Ah, gotcha. I wasn't expecting a early Don Knotts reference this morning here. So,
Herculean's a big word for you.
It is. I just say strong normally. Strong. He's strong. But it was a big old task that you took on, and you, about a day and a half, you should have this thing knocked out, bud.
Yes, sir. Started out with 24 miles to go this morning. I got a little extra in yesterday. Mountain Mama was being good to me. I was feeling good. I made it all the way to the edge of Fairmont and spent National Cat Day at the Marion County Humane Society. Spent about an hour in the cat room just hanging out and getting some critter therapy. And I'm all charged up moving through Fairmont now. I've passed campus. And I won't get it all done today. There's no way. But I'll get to the edge of Morgantown and be ready to finish up tomorrow morning. Tomorrow midday.
Yeah, and I'll tell you, again, I've said this every day that we've had you on the air. You have just been blessed, my friend, because anytime that you're dealing with October, and I can recall Halloween nights, over the years, there's been snow, there's been rain, there's been cold weather. You have had if anything, you may be a little too warm today, Rob.
Dressing in layers has been the key. And, it's been winter in the early morning, spring in the midday, summer in the afternoon, fall in the evening. A lot more leaves are down in the north central part of the state than were in Charleston the last time I was there. So folks who are around the capital city, make sure you are enjoying things. And I do have to tell quickly, just for fun, I took the remote gear downstairs and actually did part of my show up real early from the breakfast portion of the hotel, and just to get some interesting looks for some folks as if they had never seen a live radio broadcast happening before. So it was got a good night's rest, and I think we're going to get this done. And
so what's your ETA for late tomorrow afternoon?
We're aiming for 1 o'clock tomorrow.
Okay.
So in order for that to happen, I need to knock out about 17 or 18 miles today so that I can make for a super short day tomorrow and hit 1 o'clock. But I think that's when the Halloween shenanigans are happening for the youngsters at WVU Medicine Children's, and I will be in costume ready to be a part of that.
I mean, like a different costume than what you normally have on?
I will not be dressed as a slovenly DJ. No, I have a stupendous costume ready to go. And yes, there is a hint in that sentence.
I don't know how you have energy, buddy, to do anything because I mean, you've been walking on average of 20 miles a day to get that check of the WVU Children's Hospital. So hats off to you for that. And as I said every day as well, if you're not following Rob along on the Facebook pages, the social media of 96.1 KWS, make sure that you do, because Rob has just been taking some absolutely beautiful pictures of the cats yesterday for National Cat Day when you got to stop by the animal shelter there as well. We'll talk to you tomorrow, I guess, for the final day, and then we're going to give you some time to rest up, and then one day next week, maybe after we get through the election. By the way, there's an election next week. I don't know whether you knew anything about that.
I've heard. Goldie Wilson, Progress is his middle name.
So we will. I want to have you in studio after you with your feet propped up in here, probably still soaking in Epsom salt or something, so I can kind of get a rundown of how everything went overall. But be safe out there, man. We'll be following along on the social media pages and the website and whatnot. Rob, we'll talk to you again tomorrow, man. Thanks a lot.
Thank you, sir.
Robb Reel from our sister station, 96.1 KWS. Again, that walk he is on from Charleston. He left our studios here at 11:11 and is headed to Morgantown, and he has got this thing, fingers crossed, knock on the proverbial wood, he's got this thing knocked out, and we are very, very proud of what he's done. He should arrive at WVU Children's Hospital in Morgantown, they say, around 1 o'clock or so tomorrow afternoon. And then he's probably not going to walk ever again after this. He lives actually not far from the station, I mean, within walking distance, and so I have a feeling he's going to get somebody, an intern or something, to go get him and just wheel him to the station every day. I can't say I blame it. Older adults should protect themselves against severe respiratory disease. Talk to your doctor about flu, COVID-19, and RSV vaccines. Risk less, do more. Get started at vaccines.gov. That's vaccines.gov. Paid for by the U.S. Department of Health and Human Services. Biggly Piggly Wiggly hotline 304-345-5858. Tony Vitaylor text 304-935-5008. John Mitchell, who is a candidate for prosecuting attorney in Kanawha County, due to join us a little bit later on. Also Tristan Leavitt, who's a candidate for House here in West Virginia, will join us, and we'll get into some debate talk and some other things in the news coming up a little bit later on as well. Dr. Casey Sachs from BridgeValley, I believe, is with us right now. Dr. Sachs, are you there?
Good morning, Dave. How are you today?
I'm doing fine. I'm doing fine because, unlike Robb Reel, I'm not walking from Charleston to Morgantown. Now, I know that you are, you're into the outdoors and everything like that. You're a Colorado native who got to West Virginia as quickly as you could. That's a long walk, though, Dr. Sachs.
It is a long walk, but good for him for doing it.
Yeah, absolutely. A couple of things going on at BridgeValley. You recently had a family fun night and a great golf tournament. Tell me about those.
Oh, both were such wonderful events. Thank you so much to our whole community for making them so fun. 900 kids brought their parents out for Family Fun Night, and it was in partnership with WVU Medicine Thomas Hospitals. So we all set up cars, and they did a trunk or treat, and we had a haunted house. It was a lot of fun. And the golf tournament, too. We had 15 teams and a terrific turnout and some really wonderful support. We gave away incredible prizes. So all of it it's been a fun month.
Talking to Dr. Casey Sachs of BridgeValley, and I understand now you're doing a purse raffle, and I hope my wife isn't listening to this.
We are, and I do hope your wife is listening to this. So November 15th, we're doing a purse raffle. We've got our raffle license from the state, and we're super excited. We've gotten some incredible donations. If Louis Vuitton is your thing or Tory Burch is your thing, we have several purses in this purse raffle. It should be a really fun night.
Indeed. And again, that's November the 15th. Is that what you said?
That's right.
All right. Tell me a little bit more about this WIN Academy. I was in a meeting one day last week, and it was just a kind of a random business thing that just kind of popped up. And I heard several people talking about this WIN Academy. Now, you've talked about it on the show in the past, but obviously the word is getting out there. Explain the WIN Academy.
So the WIN Academy is a public high school for students who are in 11th and 12th grade who are interested in going into the workforce. So we started out with nursing, we expanded into advanced manufacturing, and it's for students who are really ready to be on a career pathway and who want that work-based learning that we provide so great here at BridgeValley. And they get to do clinicals in nursing, they get to draw blood and phlebotomy, they're out working with our manufacturers, and the idea is really to help high school students accelerate into the workforce.
Right.
So it's totally free to families, and it's what they do for high school.
And I mean, it's awesome. I mean, it really, really is. And I got to, as I said, I've sat in on a meeting last week and got to hear some more about that from people outside BridgeValley. And that's always good when outside people are talking about it as well. I'll understand as well that you're doing some hazmat training for current linemen and for your CDL license students. We are. So a colleague in another state got a grant to be able to provide some free hazmat training. And he called and said, would you want this at BridgeValley? And our dean for our programs that are in CDL and linemen said, yeah, absolutely. That'd be a great benefit to some of our current students. So they came in and went ahead and did hazmat training for those groups of students. And it's just one of those benefits that you get from being a student here is that when we can find other opportunities to augment learning, we really try and jump on it because what a cool extra certification for people to have. Indeed it is. And finally, we'll leave with this. You're doing a series of open houses at BridgeValley. Talk about that.
We are. So we really like to give the community an opportunity to come see us. Sometimes that helps folks feel more comfortable coming to campus. You may have been a student years ago and have some college and maybe no degree and you're ready to come back. That's a lot of who our students are here at BridgeValley. And so we have open houses the 13th, the 20th, and the 21st of November to just intentionally give tours and connect people to the community and say, come back to school and sign up for spring classes.
Indeed. All right. Give us the website for more about BridgeValley.
It's bridgevalley.edu.
All right, Dr. Sachs, I know you're very busy. I'll let you get back to it. We will talk again soon. Thanks a lot for joining us this morning.
Have a great day, Dave. Thank you.
You as well. It's 9:19. Biggly Piggly Wiggly hotline 304-345-5858. Tony Taylor text 304-935-5008. Trans-Siberian Orchestra coming to the Charleston Coliseum Convention Center December the 5th, and we have got your chance to win free front row tickets. Be listening all this week for the keyword of the day. Now, once you hear that keyword, go over to our website, WCHSnetwork.com and /TSO to enter to win. We've also set aside power hours that we tell you in advance that you're guaranteed to hear the keyword during that hour. Those hours during this show, 9 a.m. to 10 a.m., and then in the afternoon on Hotline with Weekly and Coop between 4 and 5. We're going to draw the grand prize winner on Friday, brought to you by Polka Valley Bank and the Voice of Charleston, WCHS. Kanawha County Prosecuting Attorney candidate John Mitchell coming up. Also, we have a candidate for House, Tristan Leavitt, on the way, and we're going to spend some time talking about last night's gubernatorial debate held on the campus of Fairmont State University. We're back right after this on the Voice of Charleston, WCHS.
Brought to you by the Eric J. Tarr Family Businesses. Eric J. Tarr Family Businesses are small businesses with big impact, including Generations Physical Therapy and Snap Fitness.
We need leaders in the House of Delegates who know what it takes to create jobs. We need Mark Carter in District 57.
All of us are struggling with the inflation caused by Biden and Harris. I have worked with employers paying great wages to bring them to West Virginia. I'm committed to doing it again.
Mark Carter is running for House of Delegates to improve our economy and create better-paying jobs for our families. Let's elect a pro-jobs leader to the House.
I am Mark Carter, and I would appreciate your vote for House of Delegates.
Paid for by Mark Carter for West Virginia.
I'm Chris Walters. You know me, and I'm running for Kanawha County Commissioner. I want to help seniors in our county. When you turn 65, that should be the last visit from a tax assessor. From there, your property taxes will remain the same until the deed of your home passes hands. That way, you can budget your property taxes without annual increases. Let's help our seniors in tough times. I'm Chris Walters, and I would appreciate your vote to be your next commissioner. Paid for by Walters for Commissioner.
Calling all off-road warriors. Hey, it's Sydney, and it's time to step up to the starting line with the new Ford Bronco at Thornhill Ford Lincoln. Designed for the wild at heart, the Bronco's legendary 4x4 capability, GOAT modes, and removable doors and roof let you take the adventure anywhere. The Bronco is built for the journey. Gear up for your next great escape at Thornhill Ford Lincoln on the Thornhill Motor Mile. Visit us at thornhillford.net or come by US 119 in Chapmanville. Step up to the starting line and let the adventure begin. Must qualify for all offers through Ford Financial. See Thornhill for all details.
Republican Eric Nelson is the candidate for state senate that Kanawha County families can count on. Senator Eric Nelson has helped create thousands of good-paying jobs and voted to give West Virginians the largest tax cut in our state's history. Voting for Eric Nelson, you know what you get. Better roads, more jobs, lower taxes, and the best education for our children. Eric Nelson supports West Virginia conservative values. Vote to re-elect Senator Eric Nelson. Paid for by the committee to elect Eric Nelson.
922 Biggly Piggly Wiggly hotline 304-345-5858. Tony Vitaylor text 304-935-5008. The Dave Allen Show on 580 Live, brought to you in part by Meeks Realty Group. Rich the Realtor, always happy to take your call. He's been talking about this beautiful listing in Scott Depot, 75 Poinsettia Drive, 5,600 square foot home. Way too many features to list here, but it does have 6 bedrooms, 2 laundry rooms, and a full house generator. Call or text my good friend Rich the Realtor, 304-932-7488. Let him tell you more about this great property. Hoppy Kirchwell coming up 10:06, Metro News Talk Line. More debate review with Brad McElhenney, Amelia Nicely, and Stephen Allen Adams, also state auditor and current candidate for West Virginia AG J.B. McCuskey on the show. A serious issue in Mingo County having to do with the election. Imagine that. Mingo being Mingo. I'm from that area, I can say that. One candidate apparently completely left off the ballot. Seriously. They're going to get into that, I understand. Hoppy is coming up next hour, plus Jared Halpern from Fox News Radio. More talk about Amendment 1. Candidate for Secretary of State Chris Warner. Some WVU football talk as the Mountaineers fired their defensive coordinator, Jordan Leslie, yesterday. It's all coming up at 10:06. Metro News Talk Line, on air and online from the Encove Insurance Studios in the Dale Miller Building in Morgantown. So welcome to the show now. Candidate for prosecuting attorney here in Kanawha County, John Mitchell. John, good morning. Welcome to the show.
Great to be back. Thank you for having me.
And thank you for joining us in our new home here.
Yeah, it's cozy. I think you'll be able to do just fine for the next couple of months.
For the next couple of months, that's what they say. Then we move into the big studio that they're working on right now. How's the campaign for prosecuting attorney been so far?
Well, I don't know if you read the front page of the Gazette. It's a money game, it seems like. I don't know if you noticed, but my opponent's already raised over $200,000 to be the prosecuting attorney of Kanawha County. I'm pleased. I've done everything I set out to do. I wanted to run a $40,000 budget. We got that. We got there. We got our word out. Quite frankly, I'm going to do your show this morning. I'm going to vote this afternoon. And as far as I'm concerned, I'm done. With the campaigning part of it, we'll sit back. I've got some obligations with the kids and with the office and with the church. But I'm ready for next Tuesday, and let's see how this shapes out. And I can't help but be optimistic, only because of the number of people keep coming up to me and encouraging me, and the number of people that really stepped up to the plate to help me on this campaign. I've been very gratified by the whole experience.
So why do you want to be prosecutor in Kanawha County, John?
Well, I think I answered that question for you a couple of weeks ago. Mm-hmm. I have the 40 years of experience, both as assistant prosecutor and in my state senate experiences and in my private practice all these years. I can't think of a better way to contribute and give back to the county using what attributes and skills I have better than to be prosecuting attorney. And I've got some real strong convictions about crime and punishment, for that matter. There's a real contrast between mine and my opponent and what we have in terms of the vision of running that office and taking on these responsibilities. And in that regard, I think I've given the voters out there a contrast, and they really do have a choice going on here.
Talk about the contrast between you and your opponent, Deb Rusnick.
Well, she has one of these, one size fits all. Everybody should be locked up, high bonds, no mental health evaluations. She's very proud. I'm not anti-Deb, don't get me wrong. Her ideology I disagree with.
Okay.
She counts the number of years a judge is put in prison as being a Girl Scout pin or something. I'm a big believer that the prosecuting attorney has control over every criminal case that comes through the loop, And there's a lot of stuff you can do without having to hammer them and put them away in the penitentiaries. And don't get me wrong, there's a lot of people that need to be locked up.
Sure, yeah.
There's a real criminal element out there, but so much of our issues and problems and crime are generated by mental health issues and or drug addictions, and so many young people that if we can grasp and hold it over their head, so to speak, get them channeled in the right direction, we can do some really positive things with them in a negative scenario. A little bit of the once silly you, twice silly me, but in a very elaborate, concise programs that which we've started to see in the day report centers and the drug courts and that type of optic.
I want to talk about the day report centers and the drug courts, because this has been a program that's gone on in Kanawha County, but it's also gone on all across the state and all across the nation. You a big proponent of those?
I was. In fact, I was in the Senate when the first one got started up in Wheeling years ago, the drug court. I was a big fan of Will Thompson, United States Attorney now. He along with Jennifer Bailey here in Kanawha County were instrumental in really getting that program done locally, and we've seen so many good results. So many good people just get behind that drug loop or that abandonment loop or so many environmental scenarios and that contribute to this when in fact if we could just give them the right leg up, the right monitoring, it's not a short fix, it's a long-term fix. Otherwise, we're going to have to give up on a whole generation of our society.
Talking to John Mitchell again, who is a candidate for prosecuting attorney here in Kanawha County. The Dave Allen Show on 580 Live, brought to you in part by Huston's Pizza. This month is your favorite Huston's. Get a large 18-inch pepperoni pizza and an 8-inch chocolate chip cookie, only $23.99. As you've been out on the campaign trail, what have you heard from people? What do you hear from, if you're knocking on doors or waving signs or at a candidate's forum, whatever, what do people come up to John Mitchell and say?
It's completely different than when I was senator. The first question always is, what does a prosecuting attorney do? Mm-hmm. Nobody understands the office. It's never been exposed politically like it has been. This has been the most expensive prosecuting attorney's race in the history of the state of West Virginia.
I mean, even going back to the primary, it was in that race, it was pretty expensive, and now we've added on to it.
Yeah. It's and the second question, of course, is quite frankly describing me and my opponent. It's been name recognition, but it's not been really a whole lot of getting down to the brass tactics of what we truly stand for, what are the hardcore questions, because people just don't ever get past the grasp of what the prosecutor's actually doing.
All right, I'm going to give you another opportunity again to explain the role of the prosecuting attorney, because I think there's a lot of people, and I've talked about this when you were on the show before, John. A lot of people, when they look at those offices, either that or a magistrate or whatever, they have an idea of what it is, but they may not really know exactly what it is. So give me the elevator, give me the synopsis, the job description. What exactly does the prosecuting attorney do?
Well, he is the attorney for the state of West Virginia. And the most vital role, of course, is anytime a crime is committed, he is the one that's bringing the charges forward. He's the one that presents it to the court. He's the one that takes the role as representing the interests of the state of West Virginia, in this case, getting a conviction. It really is that simple. The problem is but you also have to remember he's also he or she, I should say, is the chief law enforcement officer for the state of West Virginia, or for their county. Mm-hmm. Technically, the buck stops there. But again, you don't see that very often. It's not what you read about, but. And unfortunately, the perception is what you see on TV, mm-hmm. and there's a much more of a executive aspect to it. You have a lot of employees, a lot of different responsibilities within the prosecutor's office. It goes beyond crime. You've got child abuse cases, for example, and collection issues, and mental health issues, and mental hygiene issues, and guardianship issues. It's a broad breadth scenario, but what you read about is the big criminal case,
right? And in Kanawha County, being obviously the largest county in the state and the seat of state government, there's a lot of focus on the prosecuting attorney. They're going to be in the news a lot. You're going to see them on television, hear them on our stations as well. So, because again, it just comes with the territory. Are you prepared for all that?
Oh, I've been doing that all my life. I've not at least been intimidated by that aspect of it. I'm not worried about the publicity of it, quite frankly, and I don't worry too much about having a microphone stuck in front of my face. Mm-hmm. What I am concerned about is that we have conscientious, sincere, common sense application of that position.
We had a text question here that I'm going to go ahead and throw at you if you don't care. A text says, can you ask the prosecutor or candidate what he would plan to do with these violent offenders who are chronic offenders, sometimes 6, 12, or more arrests for hurting people. They do a few days in jail for attacking someone, then they're back on the streets of Charleston, a ticking time bomb before they hurt someone else. Should they be in prison long-term or given more cushy breaks?
Well, first of all, no prosecutor in the history of the practice of law has ever sentenced anybody to jail. That's the judge's responsibilities.
Yeah. Again, that goes back to that. Sometimes people just don't understand what the prosecuting attorney does.
Yeah, I don't understand why my opponent prides herself in the number of years people have gotten sentenced. She never sends anybody to jail in their life, neither does a prosecutor. That's a judge's function. Bonds are determined by judges and magistrates, not by prosecutors. Quite frankly, and I've told you, I sit here today, there are certain people out there that, quite frankly, need to be incarcerated, locked up, and put away for life, taken completely out of the mainstream of society. They're not redeemable. They're not going to change their ways. In fact, it's the criminal mind. There is a good versus evil scenario out there. These people whose long-term hardcore records, here in Kanawha County, I think it's very rare that you actually see them getting out as often as you might perceive. And if they are, they're almost invariably on home confinement.
Mm-hmm. Okay. Where can people learn more about your campaign? Your website, social media?
Yeah. I mean, but it's basic. You've heard me. Mm-hmm. I don't have any magic wand or magic potion on writing down there. It's if you think you want somebody with 40 years of prime experience and sincerely want to do a darn good job and make Kanawha County a little bit better place, I'm your man.
All right. Give me 30 seconds. You kind of did a little bit there, but I always like to give my political candidates, I call it the final 30, untimed. Give me 30 seconds or so. Why are you a better choice for prosecuting attorney of Kanawha County, John?
I think I'm done. I think I've already said it. I'm not a campaigner. I'm not going to sell myself. If people out there don't know by now who I am and what I stand for, it's over. I mean, it's time to vote now, folks.
All right. And, of course, early voting continues this week through Saturday, and then take a couple days off. And Election Day polls open at 6:30, and they close at 7:30. John, 6:30 to 7:30. It's not 1 hour. 6:30 a.m. to 7:30 p.m. I should say. John, I appreciate you being here. Best of luck in your campaign. Although you say it's pretty much over at this point, you got some responsibilities right now. But I'm sure that people can reach out to you if they want to talk to you. I appreciate you being here, John. Hang out with me 1 second here. The Dave Allen Show on 580 Live is brought to you in part by Live Healthy West Virginia, presented by WVU Medicine. Live Healthy tackles pressing health issues, heart disease, diabetes, Alzheimer's, RSV, and more. It's a podcast offering insights into medical breakthroughs and preventative care, featuring WVU Medicine's expert physicians aimed at fostering healthier lifestyles in and beyond the state. It's a really, really great resource. Check out the latest episodes, WVMetronews.com, under the podcast menu, and start your journey towards better health today. Going to take a break. Back after this on the Voice of Charleston, WCHS.
Are you a physical therapy assistant and looking for an opportunity in orthopedics, wellness, and athletic care? If so, Generations Physical Therapy is offering flexible work hours and an upbeat atmosphere. With 7 convenient locations, Generations may have a job designed for you. Visit generationspt.com.
Welcome to Poca Valley, where we've been in business since 1908. Today, we serve Roane, Kanawha, Putnam, and surrounding counties. We believe you deserve banking that provides friendly customer service. For all of your financial needs, stop by one of our 8 convenient locations. Call us at 844-782-2651 or visit us online at PocaValleyBank.com. Poca Valley, where relationships matter.
Member FDIC.
Creating a better future for West Virginia families. That's the promise of Andrew Anderson. Born and raised in Kanawha County, Andrew Anderson now raises his kids in our community. Andrew Anderson is an engineer and job creator with decades of experience in energy and manufacturing. Andrew will take his experience to the House of Delegates to create more jobs and end the drug abuse crisis that hurts our families. Vote Andrew Anderson for House of Delegates.
I'm Andrew Anderson, and I ask for your vote on November 5th for House of Delegates.
Paid for by Andrew Anderson for West Virginia.
We are giving away a pair of Trans-Siberian Orchestra tickets every day this week. Listen throughout the day from 7 a.m. to 7 p.m. for the keyword. Today's keyword is snowfall. When you hear the keyword, head over to WCHSnetwork.com/TSO to enter for your chance at the daily drawing. And on Friday, one lucky listener will win 2 front row tickets to see Trans-Siberian Orchestra live. Don't miss your chance to win on 580 WCHS.
This is J.B. Akers, one of your delegates in Kanawha County. I'm asking for your vote in this November's election for the privilege to continue representing you as a Republican in the legislature. As your delegate, I take a common-sense approach to solving our challenges. I will always work hard for better jobs, better roads, and better schools for you and your families. My name is J.B. Akers, and I will be honored to have your vote so that together we can take a common-sense approach to making our state a better place to live. Paid for by J.B. Akers for West Virginia.
937 Bigley Piggly Wiggly Hotline 304-345-5858. Tony V. Taylor text 304-935-5008. The impact of Special Olympics extends far beyond the athletes themselves. Volunteers and supporters touched by the unwavering determination of these extraordinary individuals find immeasurable fulfillment in their involvement. The inclusive approach embraced by Special Olympics fosters an environment where everyone plays a vital role. West Virginia Enriched, in collaboration with Huntington, invites you to witness the transformative power of Special Olympics. See a video highlighting the Special Olympics, facebook.com/580WCHS. Coming up on tomorrow's show, a couple of more House candidates, one a Republican, one a Democrat, but they're not facing each other. Sarah Drennan will be here on the show tomorrow, she being the Republican, as well as Linda Bodie. Also on tomorrow's show, for the final time, we'll be checking in with Robb Reel from 96.1 KWS and see if he can indeed make that trip to Morgantown from Charleston. Heard from Robb earlier on the show. He's planning on being at WVU Children's about 1 o'clock tomorrow afternoon. That is coming up on tomorrow's show. I want to bring in Tristan Leavitt now, Republican running for House in District 53. Is that right, sir?
That's right.
Good morning. Welcome to the show. Welcome back to us. Explain what that district is, sir.
So it runs from Eden's Fork, Mink Shoals area, all the way out to north of Montgomery, Pond Gap. And so just everything north of 60 for a long strip there.
So why do you want to do this? Why do you want to represent that district?
This is a really unique time for West Virginia right now, I think. There's a real opportunity, and there's also some potential pitfalls. So it's a critical time, and there are a lot of financial obligations the state has, but there's a lot of opportunities to bring more people here to the state. And so I think it just requires someone that has, I think all of our legislators should be thoughtful, but I think this is an opportunity to try and apply my experience at policymaking, working as a staffer in Congress, to try and help in this legislative process get across the finish line the things that are going to help benefit certainly all of West Virginia, but particularly eastern Kanawha County.
I want to talk about your experience. And you talked about some of the things last time you were on the show that you've done, but give us the bio again on you. If you want to talk personal, that's fine, but also want to talk professional. Give us some of your experience and anything you want to throw out there about Tristan Leavitt.
Sure. Well, I'm a person of faith. I'm a husband. I'm a father of 5 kids. I have kids at Ruffner Elementary, Horseman Middle School, Charleston Montessori, and Capitol High School. And I am a lawyer by background, so my first job out of college was working in the House of Representatives as a staffer, and then during law school I came here and worked for a time for Steptoe and Johnson in the summer. But I ended up after that being hired to work for the Senate Judiciary Committee with Chuck Grassley, and I did congressional investigations. So for 8 years, my whole job was to find problems in the federal government and then work with lawmakers to craft laws that could help address those problems. After that, I led 2 federal agencies in both of the last 2 administrations, and then was nominated by President Biden, actually, to be the Republican on a board that hears federal employee appeals. And that allowed me to move here because I could do it remotely. Now I lead a nonprofit called Empower Oversight, where I help represent whistleblowers in the federal government.
So what is it about this area? You said you moved to West Virginia. What is it about West Virginia that appealed to you?
So my wife grew up in Charleston, and I've loved it from the time that I first came here in 2005. It's a beautiful area. I grew up in Idaho. There's a lot more trees here than there are in Idaho, sure. I will say, but they have very similar outdoor vibes, a lot of great outdoor stuff. And the people here are amazing. People are just hardworking, honest, down-to-earth people, and especially living in the Washington, D.C. area for quite some time. It's just such a great contrast. So we were thrilled to be able to take our kids out of that really high-stress environment, come to just a place where they could have normal life, the normal upbringing that we had growing up, my wife here in Charleston and me in Idaho. And in coming here, there's a lot of challenges that we saw, but it's also just a really wonderful place to raise a family. And so I want to help bring more people here to have that kind of experience.
That was going to be the next thing I was going to bring up to you, Tristan. Again, we're talking Tristan Leavitt, who's a Republican running for the House in District 53. How do we get more Tristans to come here? And what I mean by that is people that choose to come. It's 2 parts of this. It always is people who choose to move to West Virginia, or those that are a little younger that want to stay in West Virginia. How do we sell West Virginia to younger people, because that's what we need.
Yeah, absolutely. So jobs, high-paying jobs are obviously the first thing that you have to touch on in this conversation. You talk to kids that are graduating, they don't think that there are opportunities for jobs. At the same time, there's something like at least 30,000 job vacancies in the state. So part of that is helping to train our upcoming generation with the skills that they would need, and also to help them to understand the job openings that there are. But bringing other people here, the number one, my focus again has been on bringing jobs in here. The way that jobs are going to come here is people need to see some changes, and that includes in our school system. So, you see Nucor, you see these announcements, but then people look at the schools, and it's hard for them to fill some of those positions when they see where we're at. So I think the combination of things that are being done, like tax cuts, things like Hope Scholarship, that's one particular profile of a state. Not everyone loves that, but that is a profile of a state that appeals to certain people. They say, this is a place I could go. And I talk to people from across the country that say, oh yeah, West Virginia is a leader in these things. I've thought about moving there. To get those people, to get them across the finish line, we've got to do more for our school systems to improve where we stand there. But as we have the jobs here, as you have the good schools, those are the kinds of things that build up communities and encourage people that this is a place they could come and raise a family and stay and really be happy.
And there's been there have been for some time a lot of issues in the news when it comes to our school system, our public schools, and I have all the respect in the world for public schools. Do not get me wrong. I have the union heads on my show from time to time. I have all the respect. I think they're doing what they can. However, there are issues in our public schools, and it's easily defined depending on what you're looking at. West Virginia consistently 45th to 50th. Sometimes they even bring the territories in there, and we rank below them. How do we fix that? And PEIA has been a huge part of that as well. And I know I'm kind of throwing a lot at you because I know you can handle it, and you encourage this sort of thing. As far as education goes, what do we need to do to fix it? I know that's the $1 million question. If you knew that, you wouldn't be running for a House seat. But how do we start approaching some of these things, Tristan?
So I think the Third Grade Success Act from 2 years ago was actually a fantastic start. Focusing on the science of reading is not a partisan thing. My sister is a teacher; she's a Democrat. Two of my sisters are teachers. There's a renewed interest in the science of reading, and that's a really important place to start. I think we will see in the next couple of years what the impact of that is. Another great thing that did was to put teachers' aides in every classroom at the kindergarten level. And so as you see more of that, I would love to, when I'm in the legislature, focus on how to get those teachers' aides credentialed to do what they need to do to become teachers. So those are some of the sorts of things, but focusing on the basics is important. And I think that really will show a big change in our school system. I'm a big advocate of school choice. We have chosen to put 4 of our kids in public school. One that has dyslexia is in an alternative learning environment, but giving people the options, I think, is an important part of that and does help spur competition. But ultimately, we've got to make sure that our teachers are able to stay. That was a focus of the governor's debate last night, and it is one of the big questions. How do you pay teachers more? How do you get people to stay here with the PEIA challenges there? And it requires some pretty significant financial finagling. So looking at the tax cuts, all of that, again, there's some real choices for the legislature in the years ahead, but we have to be able to keep our teachers, to attract more, and again, to do other things like focusing on accountability and focusing on the kids' success with things like that Third Grade Success Act that focuses on the basics. So I think I touched on your different pieces there. It's obviously there's a lot there,
yeah.
but it's critical.
I can't ask you to solve it in 10 minutes. I get that.
But that has to be the legislature's focus. It has to.
Talking to Tristan Leavitt, again, a Republican for House in District 53. The Dave Allen Show on 580 Live, brought to you in part by your hometown baseball team, the Charleston Dirty Birds. Be listening for more information. It'll be here before you know it on the Selengo Law Light the Night. Coming this Christmas season. For more, visit dirtybirdsbaseball.com. How's the campaign been so far, Tristan?
It's been great. I love talking to people. I love being out in the community and meeting folks, hearing their concerns. A lot of people, when you knock on their door, they say, I've never had a politician knock on my door before. I try not to be offended that they call me a politician. But it's been really a wonderful experience. At least you own it, because I'm going to tell you, these people that say they're not politicians, absolutely, it's one of my pet peeves, Tristan. I'm going to go off on a tangent here. When you say I'm not the minute you sign your name, you're a politician. Yes.
You're a politician whether you want to be or not once you sign your name on the dotted line. But go ahead.
You got to try to represent them well, then, right?
That's what you got to do.
Listen to people. So it's been a wonderful experience.
You have a website or social media people can learn more about you and your stances on things and whatnot?
Yep. My website is levittforwv.com. Same on Instagram, Facebook, X.
All the things.
All of the places. My handle is Leavitt for WV.
Give me the final 30. Why should someone vote to vote for Tristan Leavitt for House?
I'm passionate about a lot of things, and I think that my experience can be useful at this critical time in West Virginia. We have to focus on job creation, on improving our schools. I think that my experience finding problems in government and then working with lawmakers to help fix them will be beneficial as we face these big challenges, these big questions in the next few years in our legislature.
Wish you the best of luck. Thanks a lot, man. Appreciate you being here.
Dave.
Tristan Leavitt, again, a candidate for House in District 53 on the Republican side. The Dave Allen Show on 580 Live, brought to you in part by Generations Physical Therapy, offering concussion care, pre- and post-operative rehab, fall prevention, water therapy, women's health, workers' comp care, and more. And they are the experts in treating neck and back pain. Trust me, I know. For an appointment, call 304-760-5660 or visit generationspt.com. We're back after this on the Voice of Charleston, WCHS.
Brought to you by the Eric J. Tarr Family Businesses. Eric J. Tarr Family Businesses bring first-class businesses to your community.
Fam, some of y'all need to hear this. If you owe the IRS $8,000 or more, if you haven't filed your taxes, or if you are going through an audit and you're fighting the IRS, you need someone on your side, an ally. Allies Tax Relief has a large team of professionals that negotiates with the IRS on behalf of taxpayers just like you. Allies Tax Relief will protect your wages from being garnished, your bank account from being levied, and your assets from being seized by the IRS. Allies Tax Relief has fought for thousands of Americans in your situation. There's no reason to be embarrassed. Don't let fear stop you from calling and resolving your issue. Call 800-854-2815 today for a free consultation. Allies teams of tax attorneys, CPAs, and enrolled agents have negotiated millions in IRS tax debt, and they're ready to fight for you. Call today for the freedom you've been waiting for. Call 800-854-2815 or visit alliestaxrelief.com.
9:48. Welcome back to the show. Bigley, Piggly Wiggly Hotline 304-345-5858. Tony Taylor text 304-935-5008. The Dave Allen Show on 580 Live, brought to you by Pinnacle Consultants. Their services involve developing comprehensive management plans to outline strategies for controlling and minimizing asbestos exposure. Perfect for commercial property owners and managers. Visit pinnaclecorp.net, because what you don't know can hurt you. Reminder that coming up on Monday's show, we're going to take about 30 minutes or so to talk to the two nominees for Kanawha County Commission. Republican Chris Walters and Democrat Natalie Tennant both have agreed to sit down with me for 2 segments on the Monday show. Not a debate, but more of a forum, just to talk about the issues. I'm not going to be taking calls, but we will take text keep in mind, as long as they are germane to the duties of the county commission. In other words, we're not going to talk about Trump. We're not going to talk about Kamala Harris or anything like that. No border talk, nothing of the sort. Just the things that the Kanawha County Commission can control or at least deal with on the county level. All right, so I'm going to save you the trouble. If you're going to ask me, if you want me to ask one of them, was the election stolen? What would you, what do you think about the border? What do you think? No. Just let's stick to water projects. So let's stick to things that the county commissioners actually do. Now, I'll take text during the show, but if you want to email me before then, you can. My email address is real simple. It's dave.allen@wvradio.com, dave.allen@wvradio.com, and I will do my best to answer those or to ask those questions of Natalie Tennant and Chris Walters. Again, 2 segments on Monday. Hats off to both candidates for agreeing to do this. I mean, to come in, because you don't see that a whole lot. Haven't heard anything from either one of them as far as, what's going to happen here and how's it. They just said, yes, happy to do it. So again, in this time of a toxic political environment that we have, congratulations, hats off, kudos, whatever you want to say to Natalie Tennant and to Chris Walters for agreeing to do this on Monday. Famous last words, and I'm hoping that it stays that way. I'm pretty confident that it will. I got a bunch of texts to get to. Then I want to talk a little bit about the gubernatorial debate last night. A text said, it's a simple text, vote for Amendment 1, says the texter. All right. Text says, heard you mention the Mingo County situation. The clerk there is corrupt. And no surprise, he was elected as a Democrat. Says a texter. Yeah, that's an unfortunate situation, and I have been caught up in a lot of things the last couple days, and I haven't been really keeping an eye on that situation down there. Hoppy is going to talk about it. I think he was going to try to get Deke Kersey from the Secretary of State's office on the show today. Not sure he was efforting, as we say in the business, to make that happen, but I know he's going to talk about it. Basically, what happened down there is you have a Democratic candidate who was left off the ballot. And when people went to do their early voting, that particular candidate simply was not on the ballot, which is a little problematic, and so they're investigating, trying to see what happened and now what they're going to do about it. Will those people be allowed to, come back and vote? They would have to vote provisional. But again, that's down in Mingo County. And I maybe I shouldn't have said what I said earlier, Mingo being Mingo, but let's face it, I'm from Southern West Virginia. These things have a tendency to happen down there. I'm not throwing any shade because I don't know exactly what happened. Maybe it's an honest mistake. Maybe it wasn't. I don't know. But regardless, it just throws a negative shadow on what has been a very, very shaky past in political arenas in Southern West Virginia, particularly Mingo County. Not hating on Mingo County because I'm from the county that's right next to Mingo County, and we had our problems back in the day. Trust me, in Logan County, I know you know all about it. But for the last 20 or 30 years, it's been downright boring in Logan County, which is what it should be. So that is good news. All right, text says, did not catch the gubernatorial debate last night because why waste my time? Unsurprisingly, MAGA man Dave Wilson's commentary had its usual partisan bias. Perhaps he and WVRC media are positioning to get in Morrissey's good graces once he is the official governor. I didn't catch that. I mean, I was part of the post-debate talk as well as myself and Dave Wilson and Stephen Allen Adams from Ogden Newspaper and Amelia Nicely. I didn't catch that. Maybe I need to go back and listen to it again. I've never heard Dave Wilson, Northern Dave, as we call him, referred to as MAGA Man, but I'll point that out today. Text says, I'm looking forward to seeing how well West Virginia Republicans govern now that the federal government money has dried up. Knowing them, they'll likely go back to the federal well while trashing federal government, says a texter. Text says, Dear Dave, an idea. Rather than everyday political election talk, how about a comprehensive breakdown? How about a comprehensive breakdown of every team in the NFC East, giving the people what they want, bro, says a texter. Texter says, Dave, we don't need another Republican to close our schools and divide our communities and put more social issues on the people. Upper Kanawha Valley is fed up. Vote blue, says the texter. So to last night's gubernatorial debate, Patrick Morrissey and Steve Williams. Let me do a little shameless promotion here. If you missed it, it's available. It was available last night on the Metro News TV app. So I don't know whether they podcasted that or not. I'll have to check into that. But my debate thoughts last night, as I said, I was part of the post-debate team, myself and Dave Wilson and Stephen Allen Adams and Amelia Nicely. We were part of the post team. Hoppy, of course, was the moderator. I think overall, it was very civil, in my opinion. I think it was a good debate for Patrick Morrissey. And let's face it, Patrick Morrissey has more experience at debating. I mean, considering how many times he's run for office. Now, Steve Williams is a former legislator, in addition to being multi-term mayor of Huntington. I'm not saying he didn't do well, but in this sort of a setting, because, Patrick Morrissey has run for a couple different offices, including Attorney General, he's got a little bit more experience. I do think that Steve Williams did well, but I don't think that one of the things that Steve Williams tried to get Morrissey on worked out well for him. The subject of opioids was brought up, and you knew it would be. And Steve Williams tried to get into Morrissey's past ties to the pharmaceutical industry. And I guess, I don't know whether that was such a good idea or not, because I'll give kudos to Patrick Morrissey. I thought he handled it well. I guess Mayor Williams forgot that in the past, he, meaning Mayor Williams, had actually praised Patrick Morrissey and his office for their work as Attorney General in going after some of the big drug companies. And Patrick Morrissey handled it well because he kind of turned it around on Mayor Williams and pretty much forced him to admit that in the past, the mayor, as mayor of Huntington, had actually praised the Morrissey administration. That was until he became a candidate. And I'm kind of paraphrasing what Patrick Morrissey said there. He basically said to Steve Williams, well, you had no problem with any of this. As a matter of fact, you showed up at my press conference and whatever. You have praised me in the past as doing a good job as Attorney General fighting the opioid crisis with the opioid settlements and so on and so forth. And to be honest with you, because we were, it was live streamed, we were watching it. Myself, I had Mike Pushkin in studio with me because he was part of the post debate as well, being the state Democratic Party chair. We watched it, and we could see the expression on Steve Williams' face when he basically said, well, yeah, I kind of did that. As to who won the debate, it's just like, folks, it's just like with any other debate. I mean, Republicans are going to say that Morrissey won, and the Democrats are going to say that Williams won, because nobody can be honest about who actually won. They're going to say their person won. I would say this: if you're judging on style points, my opinion only, it was a win overall for Patrick Morrissey over Steve Williams. And that's the way I think it's going to shake out on Election Day. And I have all the respect in the world for Mayor Williams. I've known him for a few years. And I will also say this, as someone who has ties to the Huntington area, spent a lot of time there, went to college there, I can tell you it is remarkable the changes that have been made to the city of Huntington during the Williams administration. Now, is it perfect? No. They still have drug issues. They still have homeless issues. But the city as a whole, in my opinion, has gotten a lot better off than it used to be. It's certainly a lot better than it was in 1990 to 1992 when I was attending Marshall University. I can tell you that. It's a whole lot better now. I mean, the city was bankrupt, and Mayor Williams basically saved it. Now, did he fix everything? No, I don't think any mayor is going to. But overall, last night, I would have to say that if you're picking winners, and some of the more journalistic types like Amelia and Brad and Steve Adams, they don't want to pick a winner, and I completely get that. But I'm not a journalist, okay? I'm supposedly an entertainer or whatever. I can pretty much say what I want, and I think Morrissey won last night. I really, really do. You may not agree. You're welcome to weigh in on it with me if you want. You can text me or call me, Biggly Piggly Wiggly hotline. 304-345-5858. Tony Vitaler text 304-935-5008. The Dave Allen Show on 580 Live brought to you part by Morgan & Morgan, America's largest injury law firm. If you're injured, visit forthepeople.com. Text says, I don't feel like Dave Wilson favored Morrissey. It seemed to me like the majority of the panel was attempting to salvage Steve Williams. Oh, I mean, we weren't attempting to salvage anything. We were just giving our opinions. Text says, actually, the Democratic Party leadership didn't even put out a statement about Steve Williams' performance. They know he got whipped in the debate. Text says, Steve Williams has more experience as a West Virginian, and the New Jersey lawyer is no Rockefeller, says the texter. Text says, Dave, it's one thing to have experience in debating and being smooth, and another not to be prepared. Williams was not prepared to talk about PEIA solutions and economic topics. Shockingly unprepared, says the texter. Final text says, Morrissey helped flood West Virginia with opiates and then fought against the efforts of the opioid dump. We should be so grateful for Pain Pill Pat. Little bit of sarcasm, I think, there from the texter. All right, thanks to Tristan Leavitt, and thanks to John Mitchell and Dr. Casey Sachs and Robb Reel for being on the show. Coming up tomorrow, we'll have a couple more House candidates on the show, plus Robb Reel for the final time on his walk from Charleston, Morgantown for WVU Children's. Matt Murphy, my producer, thank you so much. Hoppy coming up with Talkline 1006. I will see you tomorrow. Download the all-new Metro News TV app and the WVRC Media app. Till tomorrow, have fun and love somebody.